What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. You are watching Cinema Buzz on KCYP 97.7 The City, where we talk about the amazing world of movies, new and old. Now, first of all, I want to say I'm sorry for my absence. I've been gone for a little while. Just had a lot of things going on. I had a recent trip to LA, which I will be talking about. So, definitely looking forward to that. But in other news, we have Superman breaking the $300 million mark in the domestic box office. We get new looks like Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, and finally, we get a small teaser of what's to come with the Coyote versus Acme movie, and much more. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a box office success. James Gunn's Superman has been filling out seats at every single theater in America. Remember, this we're just talking about domestic numbers right now. It's been inspiring a lot of people to do the right thing, be the best Superman that they can be. And according to the Hollywood Reporter, Superman has already crossed the $300 million mark domestically. In comparison, the Batman from 2022 ended its run in theaters with $369.2 million, and this is not taking inflation into account. And globally, Superman has already made $500 million, so that's just a really huge jump for DC. I mean, everybody's been just dogging on the DC Snyderverse. The movies haven't really been doing that well, especially when it comes to numbers and just story. But it's really looking good for the DC universe with James Gunn in hand. And just talking about Superman, obviously, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it is probably the best Superman movie that we've had ever since. When was the last one? The Superman from 2006. I remember watching that as a kid. Not too fond of memory of that, but it's definitely really good. It's holding up the candle to all the Superman out there, whether it's comics, in recent films, or the DC animated universe. I got to watch it twice. I watched it first in Dolby and then IMAX. And honestly, watching whatever format you want, you're going to be loving this movie from beginning to end, and the post credit scenes, which I'm not going to spoil, obviously, as I mentioned previously. Next up, we have Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. They just released some new images, and we get a glimpse at what Frankenstein is somewhat going to look like. Remember, Jacob Elordi is playing him. So when it comes to physicality, Elordi brings the height. He's very tall. I don't know his exact height, but from that first image, you see he's wearing a robe and he has a hood covering his face. You can tell that there's some like rotting elements to his body because he is brought back from the dead. One thing I did mention the last time we brought up Frankenstein is the huge disappointment that me and many others shared that it is this is going to be a Netflix exclusive, which is really really lame. We've all shared our gripes with that. We all want to see this on the big screen, especially with Guillermo del Toro directing all of this. I mean, you have to really pay attention to all the details that are going to be going on in the background. This is going to have like a really gothic heavy presence, so I just know that everybody who's working behind the scenes, makeup artists, people who are going into clothing, the set design, I just know they're going to put a lot of detail, and you really have to pay attention. And it's just not going to be the same looking at it at your TV in your living room or your phone. So hopefully, at least Netflix maybe will do some sort of limited release. I know they've been doing that. Um, they did that with The Irishman. They did that with Killers of the Flower Moon with Apple TV. So we'll just have to see. But it doesn't look like there's going to be any limited theatrical release. So it's definitely one of the biggest disappointing news that I've received when it comes to this movie. But I just know it's still going to be an amazing watch, and I can't wait to see what Guillermo del Toro is going to bring to the table. Oscar Isaac, Mia Goth, Jacob Elordi. It's just going to be a really stacked cast and talent behind everything. So, as we mentioned previously, Coyote vs. Acme was in development hell when Warner Bros. Decided to can the movie and shelve it so they could get like a $30 million tax write off. And Will Forte, who was acting in this movie and produced it, has made it very known that he's just absolutely mad about the decision. He's been throwing a lot of shade at Warner Bros., a lot of producers. He's been trying to get studios to pick it up, and thankfully, it has been picked up. And it just recently had a special presentation at San Diego Comic Con. They showed a couple of images, and they showed, I believe, was a 5 minute courtroom scene with John Cena. He's playing the lawyer that is representing Acme, and Will Forte is representing Coyote. The story follows Wile E. Coyote is suing the Acme company for all of the damages that have caused him for faulty equipment, and Will Forte is going to be an inexperienced, clumsy lawyer who's going to be representing him and getting him the justice that he deserves. So, from different images that we've seen, from what we know about the story, it's going to be animation mixed with live action, following the likes of Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Space Jam. So Acme's going to be, Coyote versus Acme is going to be in theaters on August 28th, 2026. So we're going to have to wait one more year and a month just for this to come out. So definitely keep that on your calendars. Next up on our last segment, what did we watch? I watched a pretty good amount of movies while I was gone, so I was making sure I was logging them all on my Letterboxd. First, we got Materialist, Celine Song's latest picture following a dating matchmaker who played by Dakota Johnson, and she's just really struggling with this really complicated love triangle that involves Pedro Pascal and Chris Evans. There were some really serious tones. It had some nice pacing. The comedy was there. Dakota Johnson's acting is sometimes off. She has some really good scenes, for sure, but there's just times where her acting just is really, really wooden. It's kind of boring. It feels like she's not giving it her best. Like she's just there for a paycheck. The same thing goes for Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal. I feel like they were just there for a paycheck. Maybe I'm just looking too much into that, but I mean, this is a rom-com. It should still have the actors, giving their best. I mean, we've seen different rom-coms and they've done a lot of like good acting. So definitely have to work on that, especially for Dakota Johnson. But the funniest part about this movie is just like the different dating standards that are just way too crazy. They just want a supermodel. Different girls like just want a man who makes a lot of money. The men just want, literally, like I just mentioned, the supermodel. All these unrealistic expectations on both sides, and it's just absolutely horrible. And Dakota Johnson is trying to work through all of that. And they just keep mentioning that they don't want anybody who's short, broke, or bald. So me watching this movie just made me feel absolutely horrible. But that was the funniest part. So I really loved that. They never let it down, and they never stopped reminding me. One of my favorite parts of this movie was the opening scene. It starts with some like early humans back in like the Neolithic period, and they're showing that they love each other. There's no dialogue at all. It's just beautiful shots of like nature, some plains, grass, trees, and then you see these two people, and one of the humans creates a ring out of a flower. And I thought that was really beautiful, and I love that so much. That was probably one of the best like parts of the movie, aside from like the comedy, which was really funny as well. So for Materialist, I did enjoy it, but it wasn't something that really, just blew me off my seat. So I'm going to give Materialist 3 stars. Next one, it's not a feature-length movie, but it's a short film directed by Nick Walker. The movie is Alfredo the Movie. It's a short film that's meant to accompany Alfredo 2, the latest album by Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist. So I had I had a really good opportunity to see this in person. So Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist had a listening party a couple of weeks ago in LA, and I was there to listen to the album and watch the short film. The short film played right before the movie, and basically like behind the scenes story was Nick Walker was presenting this, and he was talking about how Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist, they hit him up and said, hey, we want to make a short film to accompany this album, but we only have 2 weeks. Can you make it happen? And Walker said, of course. And they ended up making a 15-minute short film, which it reminds me a lot of like old classic samurai movies mixed with like some of the best crime thrillers that you've seen. It's like Akira Kurosawa and Quentin Tarantino just decided to come together and make a movie. All the shots were really good. The dialogue was super nice. Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist did act in this. It was just really awesome. And to see local filmmakers being supported by big artists was just really inspiring. And you could tell Nick Walker and his crew, they had a really big passion when it came to making all of this. Every single thing, you just know that a lot of love was in the production of this. So it's a really great piece of just filmmaking. And I think Alfredo, the movie, is going to get 5 stars. You can watch it on YouTube, so please go show it some love on Nick Walker's YouTube channel. You're not going to regret it. And finally, we have Spaceballs. So Spaceballs is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. I rewatched it in spirits of the new Spaceballs 2 that's in production right now. So it's streaming on Max right now, and it's just every single joke that was on there, every single piece of line delivery, all of the inside jokes. I was laughing nonstop. My ribs started to hurt. I couldn't smile anymore. My face went numb. Rick Moranis is probably the best part of this movie as his portrayal as Dark Helmet. They do like make fun of his height. They make fun of like his size, the giant helmet that he has. It's a big head that he struggles a lot to move around in. The pop culture references, obviously making fun of Star Wars. They talk about Planet of the Apes, Star Trek. It's really super funny. I couldn't get enough, and I really just don't want to wait anymore for Spaceballs 2. So Spaceballs is going to get 5 stars. So again, it's streaming on Max. Do the right thing and watch this movies in preparation for Spaceballs 2. So that's all we have for today at Cinema Buzz. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.